Hello and welcome to our demonstration of TIXEL's TIXstream MFT with Pixspan acceleration. TIXstream MFT is the solution for secure high-speed site-to-site bulk data transfers. One of Europe's largest broadcast organizations has selected TIXstream MFT to move their content securely between all of their locations. We have two Dell workstations here connected with a 1 gigabit network through a network emulator, which emulates a typical inter-site connection by adding packet loss and latency to the link. First, I'd like to show you what happens with standard transfer tools like SCP when you're using these on these kind of links. We have a demo sequence here of 1004K DPX frames. One frame is 50 megabytes of size, so the entire sequence is 47 gigabytes. As you can see here on my little bandwidth graph is on my 1 gigabit network, so 1000 megabits, I can only utilize something between 35 to 70 megabits, so around about only 5 to 6% in best case of the physical bandwidth can be used by this tool. In other words, that means if one frame takes something between 7 and 17 seconds, so let's go with this in the middle here, the 10 seconds, which means for 1000 frame it would easily take over 2 hours to get this sequence copied with SCP. So let's see what TIXstream can do for us here. We have here our nice TIXstream UI, and I'm going to add the same folder here to my file list, and I select my peer node here, and I create the transfer. You'll see it will show up in my dashboard here as a waiting job because it's queued on the receiving side and also started from there. As you can see, it already started here, and if I look at my bandwidth graph, I see that I can utilize the entire 1 gigabit of my network link. If I compare that with my secure copy here, it is just a fraction of the actual bandwidth. So with TIXstream, you can utilize your entire physical bandwidth of your network link. You get this nice flat performance, deterministic performance here, which you won't get with any free or commercial tool in the market. And TIXstream is not content agnostic. That means we are transferring here image sequences, but you can also transfer one big flat file, for example, your VMware images or any other data you might have stored on your storage. So TIXstream is the tool to move your data between your, for example, Isilon storage clusters back and forth. Talking about clusters, TIXstream is cluster capable, so you can set up TIXstream in a cluster mode that if one node goes down, the other one can take over and end your mission critical data transfers. So our transfer is almost done. I still see this nice flat bar here of 1 gigabit, so line rate. You won't see any other tool in the market, commercial or open, which provides you these consistent performance over wide area networks. Our transfer is done. Let's see the final verdict. It took us exactly 7 minutes. So compared to the easily over 2 hours would take SCP to copy the same amount of data, we cut this down to 7 minutes, which is a pretty decent increase of factor of 20-25. And we maxed out the average data rate. So this is what TIXstream can do for you. It can use your expensive resources as effective as possible. So this is not enough for us. We added Pixspan to the mix here. Pixspan is a technology which allows us to compress uncompressed raw image formats on the fly in a very efficient way by leveraging the GPU. I'm going to enable our Pixspan policy here. You can see that also in the GUI. You could also do it in the GUI if you want to. We set our Pixspan policy to enforced, which means it's automatically added to the transfer. So I will pick the same transfer I did earlier, just with the Pixspan policy enabled. The cool thing is for the user, it doesn't change anything. I mean, the user just picks his files and adds it, and there's no change in the workflow for the user. It's just something the admin configures and sets up, and it's automatically applied to that. So if Pixspan finds something which cannot be compressed, it just passed through, so there's no penalty for that. And if I can see, since we do all the heavy lifting on the GPU, I can still see my nice network performance here of 1 gigabit, as I was used to with a normal TIXstream transfer. But the effective throughput here is already over a gigabit. So this data rate here includes all the penalties you have with initialization at the beginning of the transfer, communication, setting up the GPU. It's all included. It's an average data rate. So it will average out over the duration of the transfer. The momentarily data rate is, as you can see here, nice and flat 1 gigabit. And this increase here, this really true acceleration comes from the compression factor. And the cool thing is, what we do is we compress before we send it on the network, so we put less data on the network, but we also decompress automatically on the fly in memory on the receiving end and writing back the data uncompressed to disk. So for the actual user and for your workflow, it just appears like a normal file transfer, but it's much faster because I get more data through the pipe here, which is great because you don't have to change anything on your workflow end, so there are no changes there. You just get the files as you were expected to have. It's one by one copied but exact, but in between we apply this Pixspan magic. So we are able to transfer over 1 gigabit link. We are able to transfer, as you can see here, over almost 3 gigabits. And at the end of the transfer, we'll see the actual duration of the transfer and get the exact numbers. But you can already imagine that this is much faster than the normal TIXstream transfer, which is already 20-25 times faster than standard tools. Here we are, we're already done. Let's see the final verdict, and as you can see, 3.3 gigabits over a 1 gigabit link. The entire transfer just took us 2 minutes. 2 minutes of 1000 4K frames, total batch size of almost 50 gigabytes in 2 minutes. That's what TIXstream and the seamless integration of Pixspan can do for you to speed up your raw image workflows. Thank you for your attention.